Welcome to the lecture presentation on resume and cover letter writing. This information has been put together by the Center for Career and Professional Development at the University of South Florida. The goal of this presentation is to help you learn how to differentiate between a resume and a curriculum vitae, to identify the sections and elements of a professional resume, and identify the sections and elements of a professional cover letter. You'll learn how to identify your strengths and skills from your previous and current experiences and how to communicate them on your resume. We'll also look at some of the top competencies that are desired by employers and how we can demonstrate these in our resumes as well. We hope you'll be confident in creating or modifying your own resume, curriculum vitae, or cover letters. The National Association of Colleges and Employers is an organization that career services professionals and employers or recruiters engage with in order to ensure we are understanding the professional needs of both employers and students in higher education. This organization identifies the top competencies to be associated with career readiness. Basically, these are the skills that employers are looking for when assessing your candidacy for a role in their company. These include professionalism, communication, critical thinking, teamwork, technology, leadership, equity and inclusion, and career and self-development. The National Association of Colleges and Employers provides additional information about the top 5 attributes that employers are seeking on job candidates' resumes. This includes problem-solving skills, the ability to work in a team, strong work ethic, analytical and quantitative skills, communication skills, and technical skills as the most important skills to have when hiring and onboarding new talent into their organizations. It is important to be able to showcase and demonstrate these skills in your resume and cover letter so that employers will be interested in getting to know you better through an interview and see if you are a good fit for the role you are applying for. What is the difference between a resume and CV? Resumes and CVs are created for different purposes. Resumes are primarily used for job applications. In order to make it easy for employers to scan for relevant skills, qualifications, and experiences, we want our resumes to be strategic and succinct in demonstrating our strong candidacy for the roles we are applying for. We may not include every experience from our professional journey, but we will want to focus on the most relevant skills and experiences. So typically, we limit our resume to 1 to 2 pages. The curriculum vitae is used in more academic settings and is meant to be a more comprehensive overview of all of your professional accomplishments. If you're interested in research opportunities or graduate school, you may be asked to send your curriculum vitae, primarily because that is the verbiage used in academic settings, and research professionals need a lot more space to discuss all of their research work, teaching, presentations, and publications. There is no length limit to a CV. As you continue to proceed throughout your career, your CV will grow longer, while your resume will be catered and tailored to show your most relevant experiences for the opportunity that you are applying for. Let's look more into resumes. There are basic resume components that employers are most often looking for. Every header that we're discussing now is not necessarily required, but we do recommend that you use these headers as it relates to your skills and experiences. If you don't have something related to these headers, you may use other professional experiences with other titles. So we have the components of the header, which includes your personal information, education, relevant coursework and certifications, relevant professional experiences, leadership experiences, skills, project and research experience, membership, and awards. So again, you don't have to use all of these headings, but this is typically what employers will be looking for. In terms of the formatting, We recommend using traditional fonts such as Times New Roman, Arial, Tahoma, or Calibri. You may find yourself where you need to utilize more space on your resume, but generally we recommend you only reduce your size of your font to 10.5, and your margins should be between 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Employers are looking for specific content on a resume. Therefore, we recommend these sections to be able to have employers find the information they're looking for quickly. So the traditional order for a resume is first your header and your personal information. Without this information, you can't be contacted for a job interview. So make sure you include your name, your phone number, your email address. You do not need to put your whole full address because most of the time they just need your phone or email to contact you. However, we recommend you keep your city and state so your employers know your current location. You can also use your LinkedIn URL and any relevant online portfolio information that might be important for the position. Second is your education, certifications, and licenses. The placement of the education and certifications and licenses may be different from where you see other resumes or templates, but as a college student, this is your most recent professional accomplishment, even if you've not yet graduated. So this should be the first thing on your resume after your header. There's often a minimum or preferred requirement for internships and jobs that you are applying for, and so you don't want employers to have to look for all of this information about your education, so make sure it's right there at the top and easy to find. The next section, the third section, is your experiences. This is where you will list your professional experiences, various jobs you've had, different relevant experiences, and this is where the bulk of your resume will be, where you can demonstrate the key skills that you have and how you've made an impact on the organization or company through your projects, tasks, or accomplishments. The fourth section is the leadership and volunteer experience. While this is an optional section of your resume, if you have participated in these types of activities, we encourage you to list it this way. Sometimes the leadership experiences you have are very relevant to your career and rich with development for your professionalism, and so you want to make sure your relevant experiences includes these types of things. For example, you can demonstrate that you've got training experience or project management experience, which might relate to the position. The fifth area is the skills section. That generally goes at the end of your resume, unless your skills are core competencies that you need to perform your job, which might be the case in some engineering jobs or computer science jobs, information technology, or business analytics positions. So those technical fields may want your skills right near your education at the top. For the skills section, make sure you emphasize hard skills, things like the languages that you can speak or read, the computer skills that you have. Do not put soft skills like communication or time management. These are things that you want to demonstrate with your bullet points, which we'll talk about more in this presentation. Let's look more closely at the header section, education section, and relevant coursework. On the screen is an example of Rocky D. Bull's resume. Rocky's name is larger and bolded. Underneath his name is his email address and cell phone number, the address, which is just the city and state, a link to his LinkedIn URL, which is a custom profile that just has his name, and a link to his portfolio. The LinkedIn profile is optional, but we encourage you to include that if your profile is ready to share with employers. We also highly recommend the portfolio, especially for certain industries or fields where you want to be able to show some of your work and your experience by sharing actual projects with employers. In the education section, education header is all capital, bolded with underline. Beneath this header, we first have the name of the degree. So for Rocky, bolded Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. The degree should be first, followed by the name of the institution, University of South Florida, Tampa, Florida. The location is also helpful to include. Underneath, you see expected graduation date. So while you are still enrolled before you've graduated and earned your diploma, you should make sure to put the expected term. Once you graduate, you can remove that. Including your GPA is optional. Rocky has his major GPA as well as his cumulative GPA posted here. The specialized courses listed would be relevant to his position that he's applying for. Keeping the dates on the right-hand side is an efficient use of space and also makes it easier to read. The section here with your education will not include your high school experience. If you are a transfer student, it's optional to include your associate's degree in your previous institution, but if you don't have a lot of space, we recommend removing the associate's degree and just focusing on your bachelor's degree, as it's generally understood that if you complete a bachelor's degree, you've completed all the credits needed for that associate's. Why do we recommend that you include your LinkedIn profile? It's a great way to help a recruiter find your account and see more information about you. It's important to use a customized URL so you can update this on the LinkedIn settings. You can edit your LinkedIn profile URL so it's got your name there. Makes it easier for an employer to find you, keeping it simple with your name and your last name as shown here. The next section is going to be the work experience, skills, and projects. These experiences will make up the majority of the content on your resume. So here's your opportunity to demonstrate the skills you've gained through different projects and tasks where you've worked, volunteered, or otherwise been in some kind of professional capacity. For each experience, start with your position title, then the name of the company, then the location. So on our example, we have work experience as the header in all capital letters, bolded and underlined. And for our first example, we have research assistant bolded next to the location and the organization, Rocky Laboratory in Tampa, Florida. The dates can stay on the right side of your document to keep it from getting too cluttered. Underneath the location and the company, the bullet points would have your strong descriptive action verbs that highlight the skill you want to focus on. For example, in Rocky's resume, we see collect data for the research study through qualitative and quantitative research methods using surveys and focus groups. If you want to focus on something like teamwork, you can start with a verb such as collaborated, discussed, and finally end with the result or impact that you made. Your skills section, where we have skills and certifications as the header, all capitalized and bolded. Underneath we have computer skills, Microsoft Office Suite, certifications, CPR certified, and languages, fluent in Spanish, English as a second language. So your skills section can show things like programs you can use, software you have proficiency in, especially if it relates to the jobs you have. Most jobs that have any kind of administrative work would typically use Microsoft Office Suite or specific programs depending on what's in the job description. So you may want to include that kind of information. For the languages, we recommend only including languages that you have intermediate or higher proficiency in. For your research, volunteer, and shadowing experiences, you'll set this up similarly to your professional work experiences. So here we have a header, bolded, capitalized, underlined that says research experience, the name of the position, research assistant at City Hospital located in Tampa, Florida. Again, we have the bulleted statements underneath that focus on what you did, how you did, and why you did it. For volunteer experiences, it's similar, where you would have the position as volunteer, the organization and the location, as well as the dates, and bullets describing what you did in those positions and what the outcome or impact was. Leadership experience, involvement, membership, honors, and awards are all optional sections that you can include on your resume. When you think about what to include on your resume, make sure to emphasize things that are most relevant to the position, the skills and experience that you want to emphasize. For example, you might want to highlight projects and skills that you gained at being president of a National Honor Society rather than just listing president of the Psi Chi National Honor Society of Psychology at USF. So think about how much space you have and what's most important to be able to communicate to employers. But anything you include on your resume, you should be prepared to speak about and elaborate on if you have the opportunity to participate in an interview. One of the hardest things to do when working on your resume is writing effective bullet points. The 3 main rules to use when writing bullet points is to start with an action verb, and we'll give you some examples next. Then you want to describe what, how, why you did what you did, and the outcome or the result. When you can, try to quantify or measure that by using numbers and percentages. So as you think about how to write your bullet points, start with what you did. What did you do in this position? What were the big and little tasks that you completed? Or what are you currently doing? Just make a list of everything. Second, think about how you did it. How did you do the task or experience? How often or how many? How you accomplished the task and what transferable skills you had to use during that task. Then think about why you did it. What was the result? Why is it related to the position? Just provide additional context through those results. Let's look at some examples of the action verbs that you can use in your resume. So once you've identified the different skills that you needed to complete your tasks, you can think about, did you use leadership, communication, research, technical skills, creativity? And there's a variety of different action verbs you can use, such as for leadership, we have coached, developed, improved, led. Communication, we have drafted, discussed, resolved, authored. Research, we have analyzed, evaluated, explored. Technical, we have installed, repaired, utilized. Creative, we have acted, created, designed, edited. So try to find the most relevant action verbs that emphasize what action you took. Next, we're going to look in more detail about a curriculum vitae. The components of the curriculum vitae are very similar to the resume, including the header, professional summary, education and relevant coursework, research, volunteer and shadowing experiences, leadership and campus involvement, publications and presentations, skills and certifications, and references. So it will be more comprehensive, it will be chronological, it will have a lot more information than the resume. For the formatting, we have similar recommendations as to the resume. So we use traditional font styles like Times New Roman, Arial, Tahoma, or Calibri. Keep the font size no less than 10.5 and use margins of 1/2 inch to 1 inch. When you're writing your curriculum vitae, you want to try to use the concept of parallelism. That means you make each line grammatically and stylistically similar to the previous line. This makes it easier for the reader to understand what they're reading. The bullet points are used more frequently in resumes, but they're becoming more popular in curriculum vitae as well. So bullet points, again, are those short declarative statements that are less than a line each. So for some examples, we can see supervised, that's one of the action verbs, supervised 2 undergraduate students who conducted office duties, planned and delivered seminars in medical theory and health, safety, environment modeling to groups of 10 to 20 doctoral students, and mentored 2 PhD students in the department. When writing your CV, you'll see that we use a term called gapping, where these statements are going to be written in incomplete sentences or fragments to increase the impact and omit the extraneous words. So it's not going to read quite the same as a narrative. So for example, we have a listing of primary instructor, introduction to biology with the dates 2022 to 2023, taught more than 500 students per semester, planned course curriculum, graded papers, projects, and assignments daily, created engaging online tutorials. So the position description will have that quantifiable information, action-oriented based on the action verbs that we prefer to use, and some information about the outcome of the tasks. We have on screen an example of a CV in the formatting and how it looks. So we have the name at the top, slightly larger font, followed by the contact information, including the LinkedIn profile or portfolio. One of the differences in the CV is it has a professional summary. So this will be at the top, and it will have a concise statement that summarizes your academic profile, such as your academic year and degree type, your short and long-term goals, just to provide a better understanding of your purpose for applying. We then have the education, which would include every degree earned. It's set up in a similar way to the resume with the name of the degree, the school, the location, and in the example of a doctoral candidate, we have the name of the advisor and the name of the dissertation as well. For research, volunteer, and shadowing experiences, we use a similar format to what we've explained in this presentation with the header or the title of the experience or the section, the position title, the organization, the location, and those bullet points that talk about concise summary of what was done, the tasks, and what was accomplished. Remember that the curriculum vitae is going to have additional information about publications and presentations. So in this section, you would list the title of the research article or presentation using specialized formats. So there's a special format for publications that includes the name, surname, first initials, the date, the title of the article, the title of the periodical, the volume or issue number, and the page numbers. For an unpublished manuscript, you would have your surname, initials, date, title of the manuscript, unpublished manuscript with the institutional information to follow. A manuscript that has been submitted or is in preparation would have the surname, initials, date, title of the article, the manuscript submitted for publication, or manuscript in publication. For presentations, you'll have the presenter's name, the date of the presentation, which includes the year, month, and days, the title of the presentation, the title of the conference, the location of the conference, and hyperlink to the presentation if it's available. These examples follow the APA format, which is generally recommended. Other fields may use MLA formatting. The skills and certifications, again, should be hard or technical skills like proficiency in utilizing programming, Microsoft Word, whatever's specific to your field or industry. Ideally, you'd be able to indicate how these skills have been utilized throughout your bullet points. So try to write strong bullets that include that information and communicate your skills. Writing a cover letter is another component of the job search documents that's required when submitting applications. So let's look more in detail at the elements of a cover letter. The first paragraph of your cover letter indicates how you came across the position for which you are applying. This is your opportunity to introduce yourself as a competitive professional candidate and express your sincere interest in the position or the company. In 1 to 2 sentences, introduce yourself briefly by sharing your education, your skills, and experiences that make you particularly qualified for this position. If you were referred by someone in the organization, you can mention this here as well. You want to make sure to mention relevant skills to the job so that the employer is likely to keep reading. The second paragraph is where you would go into detail about specific experiences you have had to gain relevant skills and other experience. So you would describe how you have the skills that make you a strong candidate. Focus on things that are specifically transferable to the job you're applying for, using keywords in the job description. If there's any special training that might set you apart from the competition, make sure to emphasize that as well. Talk about how the benefits of your skills and qualifications could provide to the company. Here we have an example from Rocky D. Bull's cover letter. You can see his heading matches the heading on his resume. It includes on the left-hand side the date and then the organization's address, and it states, "Dear Hiring Manager." You want to address your letter to a specific individual if possible, but if you're not sure, you can use "Dear Hiring Manager" or "Hiring Committee." Rocky begins his letter by saying, "Please accept this letter and the attached resume for the insurance sales representative position at XYZ Company. I became aware of this position through Handshake. I'm currently working on my Bachelor of Science in Finance at the University of South Florida and plan to become an insurance sales agent upon graduation. I'm eager to apply the skills I developed in my education and work experiences to this role and make a positive impact on your organization and clients." Let's read Rocky's second paragraph. XYZ's company's mission is to put its clients first and meet their unique needs, which is incredibly important to me. As a customer service associate and lead trainer at Winn-Dixie, I strive to apply positive, trusted service and leadership to my position every day. As I train new employees, I reinforce our mission to be better every day through helping our customers by understanding their needs and communicating effectively within our team. I truly believe that my success stems from the achievements of my team and put an emphasis on team wins and trust in each other. In the insurance sales representative position with XYZ, this will be useful as I begin to build relationships with both the team there and our client base. So you can see this is the area where Rocky will compare his skills from his resume to the job description and change some of the terminology a little bit based on each position that you're applying for as you continue to work on your cover letters. This third paragraph shows how the values and mission of the company or organization align with your own. So you might think about what are the key aspects of your work ethic and your professional identity. What could you contribute towards the goal of the organization? In the final paragraph, you're reminding and summarizing to the reader why you're a strong candidate for the position. So you always want to restate your interest in the position and why you're a qualified candidate. Make sure to thank them for taking the time to consider you and state you're looking forward to further discussing your candidacy. You can also include an electronic signature. Let's see what Rocky has said in his final paragraph. I understand that in order to be a successful sales representative, I must be able to use my critical thinking skills to successfully complete tasks given to me in a timely manner. As the social committee chair in the Bulls business community, I plan and host events that are both unique to the community and inclusive to all business students. My co-chair and I produce innovative ways to engage with community members while measuring the outcomes of these engagement efforts. I created comprehensive spreadsheets using Microsoft Excel to track student engagement and then collaborated with the marketing committee to better promote our events. As a result, we saw a 30% increase in attendance and engagement over the course of the semester by members who had never attended an event before. I can use the same kind of problem-solving skills to excite XYZ's client base and increase their engagement with our services. My past experience as an effective leader and communicator has allowed me to build meaningful and productive relationships among my colleagues and customers and makes me an ideal candidate for this position. I appreciate you taking the time to review and consider my application. I look forward to speaking with you soon to address any questions you may have about my application. Sincerely, Rocky D. Bull. As we conclude this presentation, let's review some of the main topics we discussed, as you will next be preparing your own documents, including a resume and cover letter. A resume is a one-page brief document with several distinct sections. For each job that you apply for, you're going to tailor your resume to a specific position and use keywords used in the job posting to help write your bullet points. Don't limit experience to just jobs or employment. You can include a variety of project work, volunteer experiences, different leadership experiences that showcase your skills. Use bulleted statements that describe what you accomplished and emphasize those skills. Start those bullet points with good action verbs that best fit the position or the task. Cover letters are a one-page document that's written as part of a job or internship search. Cover letters are also specific to the position. There's not just a generic one that you would use for every application. The cover letter is a reflection of your writing skills, so make sure to take the time and care to proofread and review your document, writing it with the organization that we've recommended here.